So I want to bring my dad into the story right now because, as many of you know, my father was Bill Rigney. He had a long and successful career in Major League Baseball, first as a player for the New York Giants, and then he managed the Giants in New York, brought them out to San Francisco in 1958, was the first manager of the Angels when the American League expanded, and then later managed the Twins for a few years, won a pennant with the Twins, came back and managed the Giants again later than that, and then really spent the last 20 years of his life as an advisor for the Oakland A's, and finally got a World Series ring in 1989, literally after 50 years in Major League Baseball. So, yeah, quite a career. My brother and I grew up in center field at the Polo Grounds. And center field had this odd little insert in straightaway center, which was kind of our little playground. It was off the outfield grass. And we would play catch out there during batting practice. This was in the, mid-1950s. And our biggest thrill was that occasionally during batting practice, the man who owned center field in the Polo Grounds, Willie Mays, would look over his shoulder and he'd go, "Hey, Little Riggs, come on out here, come on out here." And we'd go out and get to shag flies in center field at the Polo Grounds next to Willie Mays, Anything he didn't want to chase, we would chase. So, this was not exactly a typical upbringing, although I didn't know it at the time. My dad was one of the great baseball storytellers, and always had been. He remembered everything that had ever happened on stage, on the field, and he could just put you right down there in the heart of things. The interesting thing about his storytelling is he was never the hero of his stories. He put you down there. He was in the action, but he didn't tell stories to aggrandize himself. And I always found that remarkable. But I will tell you a story that he's got a hero of, and this is one he never told. This was told at his memorial service by Mike McCormick, who was a brilliant Cy Young Award-winning pitcher for the Giants, who came up as a rookie while my dad was managing the team. And I had never heard this story, but one time when the team was on the road in Philadelphia, the deal was on the road, if you had a day game the following day, the players had a serious curfew. In your hotel rooms, lights out at midnight, no exception. Right. So now it's 11 o'clock in the morning before the day game, and my dad calls a team meeting. And he gathers all the team around him, and he looks out at everybody and says, I happen to know that a number of you were out after curfew last night. Now here's what I'm going to do. If you own up to it, raise your hand, that will be the end of it. But if you don't, I'm going to fine you $50. Now in those days, $50 was a lot of money to these players. They only made a couple $1,000s a year. It wasn't anything like today. So $50 was a significant fine. My dad looks around the room and everybody's... So my dad says, all right. I know that 7 of you were out after curfew last night. Again, if you own up to it, cop to it, that's the end of it. But if you don't, I'm fining you $50. You still, no bad boys here. At which point my dad pulls a baseball out of his back pocket of his uniform. Turns out the night before, he had gone to the elevator operator at the hotel where they were staying in Philadelphia. And as he got on the elevator, he said to the elevator operator, "Sir, are you a baseball fan?" "Oh yeah, Mr. Rigney, I love the game." "Well, do you happen to know any of my Giants players?" "Oh, Mr. Rigney, I know all your players. We're so excited that you stay here at our hotel." My dad says, "Well, would you do me a favor then? If any of my players come in after midnight, would you ask them for their autograph?"